So just to iterate that we are going to talk about cybersecurity, learning things, sharing knowledge, and there is nothing malicious happening here. We just share knowledge. And about me, I'm a penetration tester. I'm certified as a physical auditor and share learning and motivational content there, also on Twitch and YouTube. And that's why I'm here. So to highlight people that are important to me and to industry, and to share my knowledge, to help others expand their horizons, I guess. And so, because podcast is called Ethical Hacking Gifts and Wholesomeness, so I'm always trying to also say something motivational or like share a good message there in between the questions. Hope that will work out for me. And I wanted to introduce you to Jessica Boyer, and this is Jessica, and I wanted to ask you if you could introduce yourself to everyone, because I think you will do it best.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Boyer, and my dog snuck in too over there. I currently work for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Rhode Island. I'm senior security analyst there. And my journey started into cybersecurity, officially started in 2020. But my background before that was in IT support. I started in 2000 actually. So many years I've been on the support side, and I knew where I wanted to develop and go, because I worked my way up from IT support to system admin, network admin, and just kept bumping myself up. And I wanted to grow and continue to grow my career in cybersecurity. I knew it was really important. Security is important as a whole to not only personal myself, but everybody around us who are collectively on the internet. Our information is out there, and how we can proactively, secure our own data. And so in 2020, I found myself without a job. One of my contracts had ended early due to COVID. And so I had a profile out there on LinkedIn for several years, but never really was really active on it. But I knew that I wanted to drive my career to cybersecurity. So I got heavily involved in LinkedIn and just started connecting with those in the cybersecurity community. And so here I am today. I was recruited for my first job in cybersecurity from LinkedIn. My second job, I was recruited for the job I'm in now through LinkedIn. It has been a huge blessing and beneficial. And of course, I met you through LinkedIn. So yeah, that's my story of me.
High five!
Yay!
Yeah. So actually, you're the first person that mentions LinkedIn being an important resource in like job search and like cybersecurity community, because I always obviously very gained a lot due to my activities on LinkedIn, and like met a lot of amazing people. And I think I even got my last job because I was very active and was building my reputation on LinkedIn for like few years now. And yeah, maybe they checked it.
But I didn't want to just completely fall off of that, because there were so many people that reached out to me who offered support and help. And so I've stayed hooked up in the community. I know I haven't been as active and as active as I used to be. You go through personal stuff, and you have to take a break, and you have to give yourself grace and stuff like that. So, and I went through a divorce too. I've gone through stuff personally, and so I'm kind of just slowly easing myself, but I'm always there. I'm always, still commenting, still talking. If people reach out, asking for advice or help, I try to reach back out and help. I want to give back. I want to give back into this community that helped me out so much. And so I've been mentoring and helping through LinkedIn still with people that are wanting to get their foot in the door, or, not just their foot in the door in this, it's if they're interested in the IT support side, because I came out of that side. But also the conversation of, a lot of people are finding it difficult getting employed. Like, how do I get employed? How do I, put myself out there? What things should I do? Because I found it difficult, even with the experience that I had in my background. I knew that just applying and throwing my resume out there, I felt like I was getting lost in the weeds of thousands upon thousands of resumes. And I knew there had to be a better way to put myself out there, which is scary. It's very scary to do that. We're on a social media platform, we're putting ourselves out there. And I wasn't always the greatest about being on camera. I hated seeing myself on camera. And so I was challenged by somebody I had connected with through LinkedIn. He challenged me to start doing video content. I started with some video content in my closet because I had little ones who would like interrupt me. So I would go into my closet and hide and do video content to hide away from them. And so my first manager who hired me, she saw my video content and reached out to me. So it's like, it is scary. It is very scary to put yourself out there, but it's worth it, And I always tell people, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. The only way to progress yourself and stretch your skills and stretch yourself is get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because with anything new, it's going to feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're very right, and yeah, I'm so impressed about everything that you said. I'm just speechless. So yeah, I have problems with English. So yeah, I just wanted to say that yeah, everything that you just said is like perfectly true, and I'm a super shy person. Yeah, I'm not the most social person, probably. Yeah, so it's very challenging to me, and I went through very difficult things through the last few years, and I kept being maybe it was kind of like a distraction to be on LinkedIn, like have this other world that everything is perfectly fine there, and like my private life was like, yeah, a bit struggling,
Blowing
so
up, yeah.
blowing up
And
a bit. Yeah.
I've shared some of my private life too, because I feel like as human beings, we need to be authentic as we can to ourselves, because yes, what's out there on social media looks perfect. I am not perfect. By no means do I have a perfect life. And I've even posted about my mental health struggles, because, you know, when we can connect, we have this worldwide opportunity to connect, right, with each other on a human level. And we all struggle. We all go through struggles. We all like go through suffering and stuff like that. And when we feel like other people are out there going through the same things and struggling and understand us, we don't feel so alone. And so that's why I do what I do, and try to be as authentic as possible, is because I don't want people to feel alone. We all go through things.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, same here. And also, I feel like I know what despair means. Like that's why I'm trying to be like this bubbly, positive person on LinkedIn. So this is who I am, and as well. So this is like I'm not lying there. It's not anything that's fake, but just yeah, maybe I'm hiding the more like complicated parts of myself there. But I'm so also like that's like very good that you're doing that, because I also understand that how despair means, what yeah, how it is to feel like that. So I I thought that's like that's only me, that everyone around me has like this perfect life, that and everything is in order, and it's only me that is struggling. And so that's very important that sometimes I share something that yeah, it's like very more personal and like the same as you, and people are like yeah, there's very welcome. They are replying in a very positive way. So yeah, so I was a bit surprised at first. I thought I'm going to be judged, and like yeah, people are going to throw stones or something. But that's like very important, because if someone else is struggling as well, and yeah, that person can connect and like understand same as me, that oh, it's not only me. Like everyone has their problems. No one really has their shit figured out, if I can say
Right.
it. Hopefully. Uh,
No, you're good.
which
You're
please
good.
don't cancel me,
I'm the queen of F bombs, so like,
Yeah.
but we're good.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm really happy that you're doing that. I think it's very important because some of the people that have like very warm heart and like they're open. So I think we have a mission in a way to go into the world and share that you have to be kind to each other. There's like there's light there. You
Yeah,
can be nice and you don't have to be an asshole. I don't know if I can say that,
yeah,
but and then cybersecurity is hard as it is. So just be you just don't put the don't make it harder for everyone around you. So yeah, I think that's like very important, and I hope you will continue what you're doing. And I wanted to ask what you have written on your hoodie because I think I know, but
oh yeah, this,
I love that. I love that.
yeah. I discovered this through a post actually. Another guy, he was at a conference. He shared his God, I wish I could. I'm bad at names, so I remember faces, but I'm horrible at names. But he shared a post and he was wearing this, and I was like, "Where did you get that?" And so I ordered the hoodie and the T-shirt, but it says, "Assume she is technical and capable of breathing fire."
My next question is, I think, yeah, what makes you smile? What brings you joy? What makes Jessica happy?
Um, for one, for me, it's my family and being there for them. Two, it's community. It's you guys out here on LinkedIn and who I've met, who I've made friends with, and share and support. We are a whole group of collective, and that's why I have on my LinkedIn. So I've had people ask me about that, where it says I identify as human, because to me it doesn't matter your race, sex, nationality, anything. We are human. That is what connects and binds us all together, is we all share the commonality that we are human and we're all here together. And before I leave this earth, and I sorry I get emotional talking about this, but my dream and my goal for myself was always to put back into this world before I leave it and give back.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm a giver too, so yeah, yeah, I feel really close to you because you're like a very warm person and kind and emotional. I feel like I'm the same, so I guess we are like soul sisters in a way, and we can
Yes,
say that. So I'm really happy that I met you, and like LinkedIn was a great resource of like building community and meeting people. But like in the industry, you have all kinds of people, and some are like neurodiverse, and all kinds of people, and so you can find, yeah, your friends there. Like I never felt like I've belonged anywhere, but when I entered cybersecurity, I finally feel like I found my place in the world. So yeah, I'm really happy, and that you are here as well. So yeah, that's warm feelings here. And I wanted to ask another question about LinkedIn because I saw a quote from Tolkien on your LinkedIn background. Can you tell me more about that one?
the J.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, the way I've had this conversation with people before, and they brought up the interpretation of it and stuff to me, because there's a whole other quote behind it, not just that one. What is glitter is not gold. Not all who wander are lost. Because I've been a wanderer of this world, and through in and out of my career, I've weaved in and out. You'll see different pathways, right, into careers and stuff like that. Well, within IT, you can see people that have been with a company for 10 years and never left, right? I've had people criticize my resume and be like, "Oh, you're here, then here, then here, then here." I've kind of bounced around different places, and when I tell people in interviews that might bring that up, I was like, I have bounced around. These are the reasons. Some of it was because of military moves, because my prior spouse was military, and so we moved around. So that created, I had to leave, wherever they went. Another one was honestly, I felt like I'd outgrown the position and I wanted a more of a challenge. And I find that by the wandering that I did through my career, I learned more. It opened up more opportunities, more experiences, and more had my hands in a lot of different areas. That's why I kind of get the Jill of all trades, because over that span of over 20 something years in my career, like I've seen a lot of things. I've been in a lot of areas and learned a lot, by not just sticking to one area, one place for so long. I've kind of weaved in and out and just gotten a really broad overview of a lot of different areas. And I feel like it did help me throughout my career.
That's very wise. Okay, so my next question is, because what is your specialty and how can others gain expertise in your specialty and how did you start? But you said you already answered that question a bit, but yeah.
Um, Mine is, so I'm a senior analyst, and I want to make this disclaimer. So not all job titles match the description of what you actually will be doing. And I think you probably realize that too. There can be
Yeah.
other things that pop up. So and if you do a Google search as what does a cybersecurity analyst do, you could probably get a list of things. But if you're in a job, you could be doing completely something different than what your title says, right? So I kind of want to make that clear. I I handle different security tools and manage them, and anything to do with security, from training, from managing those applications, implementing, and working with leadership, talking with my coworkers. I mean, it's very broad. Um, I think if you're looking for a more precise direction, narrow focused, analyst may not be for you because it can be very broad in what you end up doing. Um, I do feel that my background, because I've had a background in IT and the troubleshooting that I was used to doing, because I can't stress this enough when you're an analyst or engineer or pen tester, how much troubleshooting that you will do and come across for problems. You really get good at troubleshooting, really get good at digging into the problems, finding solutions, because your coworker may not have the answer. You really have to take and own the troubleshooting steps and know how to research, know how to look for. I mean, I joke, we all joke. I've heard this joke thrown around that I'm great at Googling. I mean, a lot of our job is like we're looking for information. We're looking, because we can't as human beings internalize everything that is out there and remember everything, right? So a lot of it, going back. We may have not encountered that problem for, like, it was 2 years ago and now it's coming up again. We may not have that information at hand, right? And we forget about it and you have to Google. So get good at Googling, get good at researching, which has been very helpful because I was already used to doing that coming from the IT side of support. And get used to working with many different people. You're gonna come across all different people from all different departments. Get used to speaking with them, and really, it's important to not throw a bunch of learning how to throw a bunch of security, very technical jargon. You need to learn how to break things down and simplify that for people. I never wanted to ever make somebody feel stupid for not knowing technical terms, right? Because I don't know what all you do. You don't know what all I do. And if you're in a different department, saying accounting, and they're dealing with numbers, they're not going to know technical terms. Like they didn't learn that. So don't ever make somebody feel stupid with their questions that they ask. And that's always been a big pet peeve of mine. Don't ever make somebody feel stupid. Try to break it down for them. Try to put it relatable where they can understand it and where they can feel like they learn too.
Kudos for that.
Yep.
Also, I have sometimes pen testers writing to me on LinkedIn and say, "Oh, I'm a beginning pen tester, and but I don't find any vulnerabilities. Why is that?" So I guess you need more practice, you need more hands-on, you need more, I don't know, maybe some skills or luck in there. So just be patient with yourself, and I think that's very important. And learned, and that will come eventually. So not everyone is like a Mr. Robot on their first day of
Yeah.
a new job. So yeah, just be patient and don't give up, and keep on learning, and that will come. So yeah, that's very, you're throwing wisdom bombs here. So I'm really happy that I invited you. Okay, so I think you answered this question a bit already, but what advice or tips would you offer to beginners interested in entering cybersecurity or becoming a security analyst? That,
Um, I think I would offer that not everybody's pathway is going to be the same, right? You got to find different resources, different outlets. You know, there's all kinds of people out there who are offering different avenues. Take it all in, right? My way might not be the best way for you, right? If you feel like you really can't be on LinkedIn and put yourself out there, I do offer that because it did work for me. But if you're not ready and you're not comfortable to put yourself out there on LinkedIn, there's different avenues that you go through. When I was in between jobs, or, because a lot of people are saying, well, I feel like giving up on my career because I can't get my foot in the door. I'm having to keep food on the table, which is totally understandable, right? We have to feed our families, we have to provide a house for ourselves and stuff like that. So I've been in between jobs and I've had to waitress. I've worked in restaurant industry. I've worked in retail. But while I was doing that, and I would connect with people I was serving, right? I'd have a conversation, what do you do? What do you, and that would open up doors. Well, I work in this and I'm here and we need somebody like, like you in this. And, you can make your connections other different ways and other different avenues, like by just talking to people in your community, joining groups, clubs. There's so many different avenues. So don't think that LinkedIn is the end all be all. It's not. Just in your day to day life, you come across somebody, they may have an opening, a job for you, and you never know where your connections might come from and your doorways. But it's about having that human connection and having the conversations that you need to have. Hey, this is my dream. I'm trying to get my foot in the door and do this. And you never know what they are doing, who you might be serving, who you might be talking to. They could be a CEO that has an opening in their IT department. You never know what you're going to encounter. um, so be willing and be open and be brave enough to share your passion and your journey, um, because I think it's really important. Because with job postings and out there, they get flooded with thousands of resumes, right? Thousands. And it runs through an automated system. They're trying to pull out keywords that match with that job description, right? And so you could end up getting lost in the sauce. So I tell people, if you apply for a job and it's through LinkedIn or it's through a site, find out who the recruiter is. Do some searching. Is the recruiter HR? Send them an email, send them a hello, hey, this is me, I've applied, this is what I'm passionate about. Open a door of conversation. And you may not hear back from anything, you may not get anything, and that's okay. You did your part, you reached out. If you know who the hiring manager is, or if you know who's over that department that would be hiring, it never hurts to reach out and introduce yourself.
yeah, that's so smart. So yeah, actually, what you mentioned before is like I I also encourage people to step out of the shadows and like be more active. Maybe join a community, join Discord servers, like share something on LinkedIn sometimes. Uh, Also, it's very important to build your personal brand, like maybe not a red cape like me, because there's like a story behind that why I did that, but everyone has something unique about them that is like special and makes them, stand out of the crowd. So I have a friend, actually he's in the chat there, that he's passionate about hardware hacking, and that's his business card, for example. That's something that makes him special and makes him stand out. So if that's something that yeah, you're passionate about, just share that on LinkedIn, or like I don't know, Twitter, or is it X now, like joined like communities that yeah, because what I actually want to say after this long entry there, that I got my last job because I just was myself. I shared, like the good stuff on LinkedIn there, and I went to speak on a conference, and then people liked me, people met me in person, and then they talked with each other, and I was recommended behind closed doors. I didn't know that was happening, and then I got an offer. So yeah, that can happen.
Hey.
Yeah, and I got like 100 or more rejections through the last 6 months. So none of the CVs that I sent really ended up with like an offer. Only the things that yeah, I connected with someone on LinkedIn. That person knew me for several years, and then there was some discussion of like maybe hire me, or like something behind closed doors happened, or I was recommended, or like so. That's very important now, because that's as you said, you will get lost because now AI is looking through the CVs that was sent to a job advertisement, and it's looking for keywords. So if you don't have those keywords, you are gone. You don't exist. It's going to be lost. So yeah, it's very important to step out of the shadow, like build your personal brand, show people
Yeah.
who you are, and yeah. So even then, the recruiter can go to your profile and like even go through. And for example, I have publications created there. So I add like maybe I wrote an article somewhere and it was published, or I was a guest on a podcast, so I shared that too, or maybe I was speaking on a conference. It's there, so the person can look and like follow, the breadcrumbs and see. Yeah, I'm chatty, sorry, but that's what
No,
I
you're
wanted to say.
okay.
That it's very important to build your CV very well, and like also like your uh, internet, how you present yourself on the internet, like your personal brand, your identity, your
Yeah.
persona. Yeah. So I think that's what I wanted to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and it's and like I try to tell people and mentor people, they do get frustrated with all the rejections. It is very frustrating. Even myself, like, I had to tell people, like, I was getting rejections after rejection, um, just from me looking and trying to apply and stuff like that. And my job offers that I got, these last two jobs, the job I'm currently in, the job I was in previous, were all because somebody reached out to me and they saw my content. So don't dismiss different avenues that you can use. As many avenues as you think you can come up with and use them. You know, and even if you are not working in the job you currently want to work in, talk to people. And you never know who's connected where, right? And who has connections. Put yourself out there, tell them what you're passionate about and where you want to go and see yourself, and don't give up. And even if it takes you a couple years, or however long it takes you, just stick with it, get gritty, dig in, and if this is something you really want to do, there are just different many ways that you can do it. It doesn't have to be a set pathway. There's many different offers, and utilize whatever you can.
Yeah, that's very true. My next question would be what would be the best learning resource you would recommend for newcomers in the industry, or no resources?
So for me, and it depends on how you learn, right? We as human beings learn differently. Some of us are very site driven. Some of us are very like we have to do it. I'm one of those where I have to do it myself, and that's how I learn and ingest it. So for me, learning is I can't just watch videos, right? I have to be doing it. There's learning platforms out there that have labs, right? So
Hmm.
I love those. I love the learning platforms that are out there that have labs with it, where you can actually not only learn from the video, learn by reading, but you actually have an environment to go to and do hands-on, right? Because for me, that's just what works. I have to get my hands in there. I could read anything all day and it may not stick until I actually am doing it. Um, Plural, I think it's Pluralsight, Cloud Guru. They have monthly subscriptions that you can go into. Um, there's, if you are a video person, there's some free ones out there on YouTube. LinkedIn has a lot of resources for learning, right? And there's Udemy. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Udemy. There's a lot of uh, financially, it's for some people, it's expensive, right? Education can be really expensive. And I don't necessarily think that college degree has to be your only option in. It's not. I don't have a degree. I came from a trade school, and basically what that is just a 1 to 2 year program, and we're hands on. So I came out of a trade school where we were all hands on. We were breaking and fixing, and this was back in early 2000, right? I went there, I completed like a 2 year program. I do have some college credit from that, but I started my first job in IT support, and it was actually where I learned and where I gained my experience was actually being inside the job and doing the job. Because I feel like we tend to, college has been oversold, especially for our type of industry, right? We're very technical, we're very hands on. And so I relate this kind of like for nurses and doctors, right? Nurses and doctors have to go out in the wild and practice. So they learn and they do their book study, but then as they're doing that, they're actually in the job working, right? They have to go into the field, they have to go into the hospitals to gain that knowledge. And I feel like with our industry, with IT, with anything later that it's very technical, the industry needs to understand that you need that hands-on experience too. Not just all the book, not just all it, but you've got to allow people to come in into real business world environments and learn that way too. Just like nurses and doctors get to do, we need that experience too.
Yeah, because like the industry is going in like a very unsettling direction that you need 5 years of experience to get like an entry
Absolutely.
level
Yeah.
job. So it's like, or the management level certification for a junior, is it like TASSP, like something like that? It's like management people have this certification, and I saw that in job adverts. This is wild. So what I
Yeah,
wanted to ask
and
you,
it is. And I had a really bad experience. Somebody reached out to me, this knobhead. He was like, I see you don't have a CISSP. I'm like, I don't really need it for one. And he was like, well, you must not be very what did you say? Like I had no uh uh basically that I wasn't wanting to progress my career and I didn't show initiative to doing better in my job because I didn't have a CISSP. I was like, what does that got to do with anything? Like, dude, like seriously?
like, yeah,
Yeah, so I've had that done to me. Um, so it's a very expensive certification. I am working towards it, but it's something that I don't think is necessary for starting out. Like, don't start with that one. That is one you do not want to start in. Start with A plus. Start with Network Plus. Start with Security Plus. But don't just jump into a big, heavy-handed, certification like that. Especially with how much does it cost to take the test? I'm really like, people need to work. People have to feed their families. They have to provide homes. Like if you're going to put people homeless for jobs that are not going to even pay them as much as like a senior makes or a director makes or a manager makes, why are you requiring them to take these heavy-handed, expensive security certifications? But that's just my opinion on it. So,
yeah, yeah. I think if you an employer needs you to take a very expensive, I don't know, Ascent certification or like whatever, I think that person, that employer should pay for it because he requires it for his business, for his clients. So I think he should pay for it. So I'm happy to take that certification. That's my opinion on that subject. But Yeah, but actually, you said don't start with TSP, but I actually did start learning when I was wanted to enter cybersecurity. That you know what I did? I went through the job adverts and I saw what was required, and I saw TSSP and almost every one of them. So I thought, okay, let's start. So I started learning with that one.
And I've come across people that say, well, they require this. It's in the job thing and job detail. And what I tell people is you don't have to match everything that's in a job description before applying. Because there's been stuff in jobs descriptions of jobs I'm actually in that, for one, I'm not even doing, or I don't have that cert yet. Um, it's not, some of that comes from HR, and HR doesn't always know, right? They just kind of get this overview box thing and they throw it out there in their job description or job details. Um, that's why I say don't get stuck on the job title either, right? Because some of it doesn't even match to what you're actually going to be doing. Um, and I tell people, don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of not applying because it has that. Go ahead and apply, reach out. I don't have it. You know, you can tell them I don't have it, but I'm working towards it. Is this really a hard setting requirement? You know, ask those questions. You know, be willing to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, but don't not apply for something just because you don't match every single thing on there.
Yeah, that's very smart. Oh, that's actually what I did my when I tried to enter cybersecurity. So I told my first employer that on the job interview that yeah, what I was feeling a bit cocky there. So yeah, I throw it everything on one card. So I told them I learn best on the job. So if you give me a chance, so I could learn with you, then yeah, I want to be a penetration tester. So that's my dream. That's what I want to do. So they gave me a chance. So also maybe that's yeah, try to do something like that. Look for an employer that yeah, has a reputation of hiring people without any experience, like maybe fresh graduates, and is learning, is teaching them on the job. So that might be a good place to enter.
I've told people too that ask this question, yeah, it's, you have Google, you have Microsoft, you have all these big names out there, right? And people kind of get stuck, oh, if I work for them or, whatever. But there's smaller places and smaller businesses that you could look for, that are out there that are hiring that may give you more of a chance, an opportunity to work with you and develop those skills. My career kind of, and it just happened to work out this way, but like I worked for DoD contracting, right? Department of Defense. So I did support for them. I did healthcare. I worked for hospitals. Hospitals are in desperate need of security people and IT people. Like, just look at the news, how many hospitals have been hacked. Desperate, right? They need people in there. So don't ever like sell yourself short. Look at these smaller businesses, they're going to need help too. Look at insurance companies, look at banking, look at where security is really focused. Look at your critical infrastructure, your phone, cell phones, electricity, water departments, where these places are really being targeted by malicious hackers.
Yeah, that's some wisdom there. Okay, so what can you share any interesting or challenging stories from your experience as a security analyst or overall from cybersecurity?
um don't get discouraged if you get yourself in with you're thinking you're going to solve all the world's problems or you're going to solve your company's problems. There's a lot more at play and at stake that goes on behind the background beyond your level. I've come across problems that I'm like, this is a major problem, this is an issue, like why aren't they fixing it? And it's like, oh, like pulling at your hair. And they're, for whatever reason, their reasoning is they don't want to go through that with that pathway, even though that's the more secure pathway. um, be prepared for that, because and I think being an IT support kind of already prepared me for that too. But in security, It's maddening. It can be maddening because you know the right, what's right, you know what should be done, but for whatever reason, they make the decisions higher up. They're not going to go with that or whatever. Just be prepared for that. Be prepared for not everything's going to play out the way you think it should play out.
And so, okay, another question. If there is one myth that you could debunk in cybersecurity, what would it be?
That you have to know everything. You do not have to know everything. You cannot possibly know everything. You cannot possibly be the smartest person in the room. And please do not think you're the smartest person in the room, because I've encountered, just by being open and stuff like that, there's things that I know that I'm good at, but there's other things and areas that I'm weak at that somebody else is really great at. And by sharing and asking and questions and putting fear aside of feeling like you're stupid, and actually asking the question opens up a lot of doors and conversations, because there may be 5, 6 people afraid to ask that same question, but because you had the courage to ask it and present it, they're like, oh, it starts a whole nother conversation of problems that are being solved from that question. So really, don't ever be afraid of to ask questions. Don't ever feel like you have to know everything, because you won't ever know everything. I'm learning still every day new things all the time. Give yourself grace.
Yeah, I think that what you just said is like very important. I don't know, maybe that's like what women do, because we tend to maybe lower our value in a way, like on cybersecurity and our skills, to make us ourselves look a bit smaller than we actually are. When men on the other side are doing like they're making themselves
Look bigger.
job bigger, like giants
Yeah.
on the job interview. Like, so what I wanted to say, you said about asking questions, because sometimes we feel like maybe intimidated, like, oh, I have like very like a good idea there, I want to ask a question, or maybe there's something that I just found, but I'm afraid to like disclose it. So you just yeah, don't you have to believe in yourself, show your individual strength in the team, and not make yourself smaller, but like show them that you're like very intelligent and worthy person, and just ask the question, like tell them your opinion, like. So I think that's
Yeah.
very important, because we tend to like silence ourselves, and like what I said, like make them make ourselves smaller. So be brave enough to not do that anymore. Like believe in
Yeah.
yourself more.
Yeah. Life is about risk, and, be brave enough to risk your own vulnerability, because you never know what that next step and that question will lead to. And the progress, I've shocked myself. I've opened my mouth up in meetings and brought something up, and it opened up a whole new world of conversation and resolved some things. And so yeah, don't let fear hold you back.
Yeah, that's very true. And yeah, I have something in the chat. You can't know everything, and don't compare yourself to other people. Also, that's very smart. Yeah, and the next question is kind of connected. So, what qualities do you believe are highly successful cybersecurity professional have or share?
Being willing to learn, being willing to be brave, being willing to be wrong, right? Be willing to be not afraid of making mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. And um I'm sorry if I get emotional talking about this, but my one of my instructors from my first trade school, for when I started in IT support, brand new, right? I was 18 years old, brand new. And like I said, hands on, break fix, right? I broke my first motherboard in front of the whole class, cracked it. Um, and I must have looked horrified, because my emotions show. I'm one of those that show on my face. I can't hide it. And so I must have looked terrified when I looked up my instructor, and he was like, if you don't break it, how are you never going to know what to fix? That stuck with me for my whole career. If I didn't know what happened, what did it wrong, and I didn't break it, how am I supposed to know how to fix it? Right? Like, don't do that. Don't do what I did. Do it this way. He let me do that, but he didn't bash me for it. I thought I was about to get creamed, like, oh, you're so stupid, and da, 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 da. Why did you do that? But he was like, unless you break something, how are you going to know how to fix it? Which is so true, right? And we counter things all the time, and people are so afraid of saying I messed up. People are so afraid of saying I made a mistake. And I think, in the industry, we've encountered these people and managers and leadership that, oh my gosh, you make one mistake, you're out the door. That's not even humanly possible, and it's not even correct as a human. We may make mistakes all the time, but we learn from our mistakes, right? And as long as you're learning, and give people grace to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. Now, if you are going in there and constantly repeating the same mistake over and over and not learning, that is an issue, right? But making a mistake, own up to it. Hey, I flipped this one stitch and I broke, these users access, own your mistake. I made the mistake, I'm going to fix it, and this is what I did wrong. Be willing and be brave to do that.
But also, what a wonderful teacher, because I also had those that would get mad for like breaking something. So,
Yeah,
then you have that flight and fright, I guess, response to things that go wrong. So that's yeah, and also like if someone says that you are out after the first mistake, that puts impossible pressure on you. So then, like with that burden on your back, you will make a mistake because yeah, that's inevitable.
yeah.
So that's all you can think of from that
Yeah.
point.
And
So
it's a toxic culture too.
yeah,
And that's why I say, when you're in an interview with a company, you need to be interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. You need to ask them the hard question. Why did that person leave that position? What challenges do you see in your company that you guys are facing? Ask questions, get personal, get deep, because red flags will show up in interviews where you're like, I don't know if I want to be with this company. I've learned that over the years, because I've been in some really toxic jobs before, and I'm just like, it made your life a living hell. I didn't enjoy my job. Wasn't learning. And, if you find yourself in that place, you got to get out. That's the only way you can do, is just find another job and get out, but learn from those mistakes of, I didn't ask the right questions. I didn't realize that this was this bad.
yeah. Like actually, that's very good that you're saying that because yeah, you spend a lot of time at your job. So yeah, why do you want to suffer in your life if you feel like
Yeah.
you don't belong there? So don't mold yourself into something that you're not. Just look for a place that will better suit you and people that are welcoming, because your mental health will suffer, and that's like the most expensive to repair afterwards. So
Yes, it is. Yes, it
so
is.
yeah, just don't do it to yourself. Change that place and go somewhere else that will respect you and like give you learning opportunities. And yeah. Okay, next question. Do you think a college degree or certification is necessary to become a cybersecurity professional?
So I'm going to tell it like I tell everybody else that's asked me that before. Any type of education is worth it, right? If you can afford to go to college, go to college. If you can afford just working on a certification, do that. Even if you're not getting a certification, but you're learning any education, and I know this is not like, a lot of people will push back at me and be like, oh, but they're not showing initiative if they don't have a college degree, or they're not showing this if they don't have a certification. But you also don't know people's financial situation either. You don't have everybody's background, right? So like, if they don't have the means to go to college, the money, getting a certification, one or two or whatever, or they're learning on their own, don't disqualify them for that, right? Because education, no matter how you achieve it, is worth it. Got all these college degree people with cybersecurity degrees, and they're having the hardest time getting their foot in the door. They're like, oh, you don't have 3 years experience. Yeah, they just graduated college and they just spent 4 years in college. Like, I think, and that's why I'm out on at LinkedIn, and I'm very vocal about this, is because these kids went to school, right? And they put 4 years into a degree. Like, why are we putting such high demands and requirements on stuff that we should be allowing people to get into, to learn, to grow their career, because I'm 43. I'm not going to be in this industry forever. I'm not going to be working here when I'm 80 years old. We need to start helping the next generation grow their career,
Yeah,
or
that's
you're going to have a severe gap of seniors if we don't quit this stuff with, oh, they need 3 years of experience and they've been in college for the last 4 years.
yeah, but yeah, actually, yeah, because a lot of people is saying that cybersecurity it's not an entry level industry, and you should start from, for example, help desk or yeah, something else to gain experience technically, and then go into cyber. But if yeah, but you can also like open places that are like maybe I don't know, not exactly joining your red team from day one after graduation, but maybe you can start from, I don't know, writing reports or answering tickets or yeah, something that could be like an entry path into the bigger world. So,
Yeah.
and even looking for alerts at the SOC, something that,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't need a lot of skill. You will get there, you will get the skill, but you
Yeah.
have to start somewhere.
Yes, and kudos to my company, and for being willing and allowing to people to come in. We've hired entry level without a lot of experience. We've hired, stuff like that. So really kudos to both my companies who were willing to do that. And I've been on interviews and fought for people that come in, and they've been one of the best coworkers I've ever had. They didn't have a cybersecurity background, or they got their learning or whatever from like boot camps and stuff like that, but they had that mentality in their mind, and the way they came across in their interview and the questions they were asking, that you knew they were passionate. They may not have had real job experience, but you knew they were going to be good just from the questions they were asking and stuff like that, and they were willing to dig in. And when we brought them in, they were phenomenal. Man, they rocked it, and that really needs to happen more. Open these doors up. I don't think you have to spend 5-6 years in IT before you do cybersecurity. Yes, your senior position. Yes, of course. Yes, you're not going to be entry level off the street and go into a senior position, right? Let's keep it real. But there are things on teams that you could allow somebody to come in and do certain jobs where they don't have to have 3 years experience, 2 years experience. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, we just need to keep having these conversations.
Yeah, like just give people a chance, and that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, okay, next question. Are there any challenges you had to face as a woman working in cyber?
I mean, yeah, but I've from the time I started in IT support back in 2000, I almost every team that I was on, I was only female. Almost every team I was ever on, I was only female. And I've had great male coworkers. I've had bad male coworkers. I've had great female coworkers. I've had bad female coworkers. It's just personality types and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna say that it's all men. It's not. I've had really bad female managers that were horrible to me. Um, uh, it's about how you treat somebody as a human being, and basically don't have, they're not having a stick up their butt. Um, you're going to encounter all different kinds of personalities and things of that nature. I've been mansplained before. It happens. You come across different cultures where they don't view women the same. We're not equals, and that's going to happen, and you're going to have to take yourself out of it a little bit too. Don't And I've had to learn that. Don't take it personal. If somebody grows up in a different way, a different culture, that's kind of how they grew up. um, is it a little bit more difficult? Yeah, it can be difficult, but it does. I've had good and I have bad, and you just have to take the good with the bad, and just stick with it.
Yeah, very, very good answer. And so, okay, this one is a bit of a like a curveball maybe, but I will try to ask this one. How is that cybersecurity spending is increasing, but breaches are still happening?
uh, oh God. I don't think we're really addressing, um, and it's not just me who said that. There's other people out there on LinkedIn who said this over and over again. Simple mistakes are still happening. You still have got passwords out there by admins and creating users and passwords with ABC123 or password one, or just, there are simple things out there, simple mistakes that are still happening every day, right? Um, uh, Things that it's not as complicated, it's not as, fun or whatever, and like it's just normal every day. People are still not getting it, that you know um, a repo being exposed to the public, or this being exposed to the public, and controls and things of that nature, and people come and go out of companies, big turnovers. When you have big turnovers, you can end up having major security breaches because of that, because you get new people in, things weren't passed over, you don't know who did this, opened up what. um, so you're going to continue to see a lot of breaches. You're going to continue to see people buying into oh, you need this security tool because it's going to fix it, when the problems are really simple, right? Start. And a lot of my thing is, because I came from IT, is know your assets. Where are your assets? Where are they located? Who are your users? What password protections do you have? MFA on all accounts? Do you have it? Start simple, keep it simple. You don't have to get all complicated with all these security whatever. And I know I'm going to be hammered because all these security tools are like, oh, we could fix all your problems. No, not really, because there's simple things still out there that are exposing, and they're stupid mistakes, common mistakes that are still happening out there like that. So start simple, know your assets, know what's on your network, know your users and the passwords, and training. If people are still getting phished by emails in the corporate world really bad, and we really, I think we're overspending. We are, when there's other things that we could be doing, and we should be doing. But if those other teams or other departments or whatever and stuff are not willing to narrow the focus in on that and fix those issues, we're going to continue to see this trend.
Yeah, very good answer, actually. Okay, so next question. It's a bit, I'm getting back to the things that you answered already, but maybe you have like another answer for that one. What advice would you give to someone who is just beginning to explore the cybersecurity field? Like someone just, well, I don't know, graduated or just was working on a different field and wants to enter cybersecurity.
Research what is under cybersecurity, because there's all different kinds of roles and jobs. There's analysts, there's compliance, there's privacy, there's engineer, there's pen testing. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Bring up everything that falls under cybersecurity and start looking at those jobs and what they entail, even though it may not always match up. You may not be interested in doing analyst or engineer. Maybe you don't like that kind of thing, but maybe you're really good at compliance or privacy. That might be your niche. Or you want to just solely focus on pen testing. You really need to narrow down and narrow your focus of what kind of job interested you under the umbrella of cybersecurity.
Yeah, that's actually the good first step. So then you can know what you need to learn and like what skills do you need if
Right.
you.
Yeah. Narrow that down to what, get, like, I'd say from 2 to 3 jobs of like, oh, this interests me. This one, like these 2 or 3 interest me. And then start like, what is required for these 2 or 3 jobs? And it'll help, because people get overwhelmed when they see cybersecurity.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, I have to know all this. No, narrow it down to a job, what you might want to be interested in doing, and then go from there.
Yeah, and also what my advice would be like the Marie Kondo approach, what sparks joy for you, what brings you like yeah, to a good place in your heart, I guess. And the other thing is to just if you find that thing, just focus on it, because I wanted to be a penetration tester, and then I was spending time in blue team labs, like doing blue team exercises. So then I realized, yeah, maybe it's there was like not I didn't waste any time. There was like good skills, but maybe I should focus on the thing that I should actually be doing now, right now, because I cannot learn everything. My time is limited. My brain powers are limited. I'm a just human being. I get tired. So yeah, just
Yeah.
focus on the thing that you should be learning. Yeah. Okay, next question. Do you have any recommendation of cybersecurity mentors? Yeah, I don't like that word, but influencers to follow.
I think you're a great one, and honestly, there you have been. I've loved your content. I loved your authenticity out there. I've really felt connected to you even before talking with you and conversation. I loved it. I love what you were putting out there, and you were positive, but you were also, you put, things that you struggled with too, and I really just connected with that. You can go through LinkedIn and just start connecting with people, and some people will stand out to you. And there's a whole list. Like I said, I can't remember everybody's name, but I've connected with so many people out there in this community. Just start connecting. And if you feel like somebody like matches your energy, right? Or you feel like they're really putting stuff out there that is for you, and have conversations, be willing, to say hi to them, and stuff like that. And that's what I had to do. Or I'd comment on their post and start a conversation. Maybe I was a little scared to reach out to them directly, but they put something on their post, and I'd have a conversation back and forth through that post, and then we'd take it to, like, messaging and stuff like that. But really, it's about who do you feel like you connect with, and who can, you get value out of.
So I felt like that was like really really nice. I felt like, oh, yeah, thank you for saying that. I try my best. And what I wanted to say, like in reply to your answer, that my advice is just to be yourself, and because I think I'm a bit weird, maybe in a good way.
We're
So
all a little weird.
yeah,
I
so
That's my line on there. It's like Mad Hatter cybersecurity. We're all a little mad. We're all have our own.
yeah, so just be yourself, show who you are to the world, because other people might resonate with who you are, and then you will find your friends, and I think that's worth, I don't know, experiencing to just find your people somewhere. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, next question. How do you keep yourself motivated? Yeah.
For myself, to stay motivated, like it does, it can get daunting, it can get frustrating. Um, but even though I feel like, no, I won't save all the world's security problems, I feel like I am making an impact. And even if it's just a little, even if it's just one person, and that's why I stay on LinkedIn, because if it just impacts that one person and makes a difference for them, that keeps me going, right? When I share something personal and somebody reaches out to me like, oh, that really touched me, I don't feel alone, I just that small, minute impact, it really keeps me going. That, it may be minimal to me or something. It may not feel like it's worthy or worth it, but like to somebody else, it meant the world to them. And so that's what keeps me going, keeps me, here and doing the best I can do. We're all humans. We're all going to struggle, but what we have that combines us is our humanity. Our kindness, our humanity, our hearts, and our souls that connect everybody, and being willing to share and be open.
Yeah, I'm always trying to reach out and like say something nice. And as a lot of people also reach out to me after like I shared something on LinkedIn, and like my favorite message was when I think a father reached out to me and said that my daughter is looking up to you, and I was like,
Oh,
oh, that was like so nice. Yeah. Okay, so next question. What do you feel was your biggest win in life?
oh gosh, staying with it, staying here, staying present. I've dealt with a lot of mental health issues throughout my whole life. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with suicidal stuff before. And I think I'm thankful that I'm still here. I'm thankful that I had people encouraging me. I think thankful for the community connections that I've had with people that encourage me to keep going. Um, and to myself for, sticking with it, getting gritty. Um, it's worth it. Life is worth it. Life is hard. It'll break you at times, and it has broke me at times. But um, sorry, it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's
it's
still
okay.
very worth it to be here. And because if I hadn't still been here, I wouldn't be where I am today. And every heartbreak, every trial, everything that I went through, it grew me as a person. So even if you're going through the hardest things in your life, please stay around, please stick with it. We've all been there, and sorry. Um,
I want to give you a hug so bad.
um, it's important. We're all important and we all struggle, but it's without my struggles, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, that was my next question, but I went through some stuff as well, like trauma and like yeah, but yeah, very heavy experiences, and like and it was like very hard, and there was like a lot of crying involved, also in 2023, for example. But if I'm happy to be alive and like to be here and like to get to that point and to see how beautifully I grew and yeah, who I am today. I'm becoming my best self. So I was, I think, worth witnessing. And like my next question that I wanted to ask was, uh, but I kind of like want to give my answer straight away. So if you want to answer, you don't have to answer. So you can already say that you don't want to, and that's really fine with me. So what is the biggest mistake you've ever made, and how did you recover from it? If that is okay for me to ask, and like I want to already like answer that it was maybe not a mistake because it made me who I am today. So maybe, yeah, maybe not, we don't really make mistakes, we just go through like life lessons and then we grow and then we learn things and then we move on with with our lives and like step on the higher level. So maybe there are no mistakes, but what is your point of view on that?
I think my biggest mistake that I regret in life is not taking care of my mental health sooner and being afraid to reach out and ask for help. I feel like if I would have reached out and asked for help a lot sooner and not been so afraid, um, I may not have struggled as hard as I did. I may not have went through some of the things that I did, but asking for help as a human being, especially in mental health, it is hard. It's hard because there's been so many just bad, around that, wrapped around that, so much shame wrapped around it, and asking for help, especially when you're struggling with your mental health. But once I got past that and once I really developed into therapy and counseling and stuff like that, like, and it opened up the doors of understanding myself, where I've been through, what I've done, and to grow myself. I've always wanted to do better than I did yesterday. I always wanted to do better than my past mistakes and grow myself and keep growing. And that's why I put sometimes on my tagline, keep going, keep growing, because we're humans. We're going to change. We're going to evolve. We're going to, um, I've always wanted to just do better, keep doing better. Um, and know that failure is not an end all be all. I was always, for so long, I was so afraid of failure, so afraid of failing. And I still failed, no matter, even if the fear was there of failing, I still would fail. And that's not the end. Even if you fail, that's not the end. Keep going, keep progressing, keep learning.
Yeah, it's like so I failed today, but tomorrow is a new day, so I can start from the top and then maybe I will succeed. And also that's like very good answer from you. Thank you for sharing that. And so I'm making notes because you're saying very smart things there. What I want to say is you cannot do everything by yourself. That's why it's very important to ask for help. And I'm still learning that because I'm maybe hyper independent in a way because I've been hurt so many times that I don't really want to depend on others anymore. But I'm learning that it's very important to be in the community, that there are like people that are there to help you, and you have to go through life with an open heart and like don't close yourself on life experiences because you've been hurt before. And so tomorrow is a new day and there's something amazing can happen to you. So never give up. Like, it's my uh, hashtag there. But what I and That's very important what you just said. And another note that I made is that sometimes when you're being tested the most, like your life is becoming like very, very hard, is the moment when you are about to ascend to like a higher level, or maybe something like a door is closing for you, but you're being tested to like maybe check if you're ready for that, because that's going to be bigger than, yeah, you need to grow to be ready for that next big thing that is coming for you.
Yep.
That's what I
Yep.
believe is happening, like with the universe or whatever, that we are guided through our lives, and like we are going through hard experiences because we need to be prepared for like what is coming next, and same as I understand.
Because it's like, I in my experiences and the things that were hard, it made me more empathetic for people, right? And those, because you really can't empathize as a person unless kind of you've walked in those same pathways yourself. And so every situation that was put in that was hard, and I just wanted to quit, and it was too much. And I've interacted with people that went through similar experiences, and I could reach them on a deeper level. And if it wasn't for that, I may not have been able to empathize and help them as well. So every hard situation may be preparing you for the next person you're going to encounter that you will be able to help.
Yeah, and maybe your story will be their survival guide. So that's
Yeah,
also important.
yeah, exactly.
Yes, that you're a very smart person. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I'm going like I'm running out of questions. So if there's anyone in the chat that has any questions for Jessica, please share them in the chat. But I have three more. So what is your favorite hacker movie, and why does it resonate with you?
Oh my gosh, I can remember this movie like when I was younger. It was Sandra Bullock. It was The Net.
I love that
Oh
movie.
my gosh, like that movie stuck with me. It was so cool. She was a female in there, and um, maybe it wasn't like the hacker movie, but it was just so cool, and I was like, oh, I'd love to, da, da, da. And then, it was funny because this was before, mobile orders. When she was ordering the pizza
Yeah.
online, and I was like, wow, that'd be really cool if we could do that one day. And here we are, like, you know, on our phones ordering food and stuff like that. So just see, if you go back and watch that movie and how it plays out, you see what has came to fruition with some of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like like the beginning of Matrix, but with like a female character. Like
Yeah,
for me personally,
yeah,
yeah, I actually watched. That's like one of my favorite actresses. I watched every movie of Sandra Bullock actually. So yeah,
yeah.
I'm with you on that one. So okay, next question. I yeah, I wasn't sure if to put that question because it's kind of confusing to the people I ask it to, but maybe you have some good ones. So, can you share a life hack that you find particularly useful?
Oh, a life hack that I find useful. Oh wow.
Yeah, I know there's like a kind of like a curveball of a question.
I don't like. I'm one of those that I soak up knowledge, right? I soak up knowledge. I would just want to soak up everything. And um I would say to everybody that is like wanting to learn, wanting to get out there, wanting to, experience things or know things and stuff like that, you have that at your fingertips already. I've learned to do things on my car watching YouTube. I've learned to do things around my house watching YouTube. I've learned how to make things and, anything like you feel like, oh, I don't have the capacity or I don't know how to do that. It's at your fingertips. Just type it in and you get directions. You can learn how to cook, you can learn how to sew, whatever you want to get into, it's literally at your fingertips. And it's so easy now than it was previously in my generation, your generation growing up. We had to go to the library, check out library books, search, do all this. It's literally at your fingertips. And whatever you think you want to get into, whether it be a hobby, whether it be a career, it's literally at your fingertips.
Yeah, I got a comment in the chat. You can watch Lord of the Rings extended editions in slow motion, so it lasts longer. Hashtag life hack. I love that. What is your favorite food or dish?
So of course I live in the United States. Of course I'm from what we call the southern part of the United States. I grew up with a dad who came from a southern family, so southern comfort food is my jam. Also, I love good Hispanic food. I'm one of those that I'll try anything. Like I love trying different dishes from different cultures and things like that. I had some just awesome neighbors from India, and she would cook me the most delicious Indian food. So I love food. I love food, and I love experiencing different foods.
I'm a
Yeah.
foodie, so yeah, if you talk about food with me, I will not shut up for hours. So yeah, what I wanted to say, actually, you said very smart things about YouTube and like being it on your at your reach there, that men and women are the same. So before I thought, oh, I'm a woman, so I cannot paint my walls. I cannot like drill holes in the wall and put like nails there, like do it myself. I need help with that, I guess. And
Yeah.
then I realized, yeah, like men and women actually don't really have. There's no differences there. We have just on like yeah, we may look differently, but we are just as capable. Women are as capable as men. So don't
Yep.
make ourselves smaller. Like, just go to the YouTube, like, learn how to paint your walls. You don't have to ask a man to do it for you. You can do everything yourself. And, like, I
Or
think
you
that's
don't have to
very
spend the
important.
money hiring somebody. Painting, carpeting, if you don't have the resources there, I think it's pretty amazing that what all we have are available at our fingertips to give us the own tools that we need to do it ourselves without spending thousands of dollars trying to hire somebody to do it. And maybe it won't look as nice or perfect, but man, pat yourself on the back that you did it.
Learn something new that you didn't think that you can. So I think
Yeah.
that's, yeah, that actually maybe don't do your electricity and
Yeah.
wiring, like,
No,
leave that
I
to
stay
a
away, no, no,
professional.
no, I stay away from electricity.
But like painting your walls or like yeah,
Yeah.
putting your furniture together by your
There
own,
are
like,
some things, disclaimer, that you will need a professional for.
yeah, yeah. Or maybe if you're like that's another thing, maybe from a different barrel, as Monty Python used to say, that because I don't know why I remember that now. So if you are on a physical pen testing assignment and you have to impersonate like a different person, impersonating a policeman is a very bad idea. So don't,
Yeah,
don't do it.
don't do that.
Okay, so I don't have any more questions, and I don't see anything more in the chat. But you guys are still have a chance to ask your questions if anyone wants to. But if there's anything that you wanted to share at the end, I guess that now is your time. You can pour your heart out here if you want.
Uh, I do have to run in just a few minutes because my daughter's having a play at school, but Thank you. This has been so enjoyable. I so enjoyed meeting you and talking with you, and I've learned things from you and about you, and I really did. I loved your post and what you put out there. I love seeing you grow and where you've developed, and from where you started, where you are now. So thank you for being willing to share that with everybody, and what you're doing here. I think it's really important. So thank you, and give yourself a big hug and congratulations to yourself for all you've accomplished.
Yeah, and same to you. I'm really happy. I feel like I already am best friends with you, and like I know you because yeah, on LinkedIn is like very superficial, but now we are have talked, and
Yeah.
like yeah, I feel like we are besties by now. So yeah, I wanted to thank you for agreeing to come onto my stream and to yeah like come out with like your vulnerabilities and like yeah show your true self to everyone, and like you were amazing. So again, thank you and for sharing your knowledge and like yeah. That was great. Yeah, thank you. And I will not keep you here. Just go to your kids and like thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.